Hi, very good morning, Atul.
Hi, morning.
To begin with, I wanted to thank you profusely for coming in on my podcast. I have been following you for quite some time and totally impressed with the kind of exposure that you have been having, especially in the Indian context. So, without me getting into it, I would request you to introduce yourself to all the viewers of this particular podcast. Over to you, Atul.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Atul Raja, and I'm known in the field as a career marketeer. I'm known as a brand builder, and one of the key traits of my career has been that I have consciously moved out of my comfort zone to different sectors. And over the years, looking back over my shoulder, now I can say with conviction that it was never a wrong decision because different sectors give you very diverse learnings. And I've done a number of podcasts like this, mainly on marketing, which is my core area of competence. But today we are talking about work-life balance, which is something very dear to my heart, and so I'm really excited to do something else apart from marketing.
How can I move on directly to work life balance without asking you a bit about marketing in the current context of India? That will be an absolute injustice. So, if you can, quickly brush on that and then we move on to our topic today.
Yes. So, 2019, the pandemic struck globally, and, the world changed after the pandemic struck. And, there was no reason why, once the world changed, marketing won't change. So, marketing also had to change. So, marketing underwent transformational changes. From offline, the journey from an offline marketing to an online marketing was pretty much accelerated post the pandemic. It won't have accelerated, and it was actually in sync with the massive digitization that India itself was undergoing in that space. So, marketing is currently very different. It is a new age marketing. It is mainly digital marketing. If today I have to evaluate a marketing professional, first I have to see his digital marketing skills before anything else. When I began my career, we had to basically, plan for a few print ads and a few perhaps TV commercials, and the budget for your quarter was over, and then another quarter, another budget. And but today, things have totally turned topsy turvy. Today you have the privilege of slicing and dicing a customer from head to toe, in terms of demographics, psychographics, and also you have the privilege to pause and stop your marketing spend, your campaign, review if you're going as per plan, or if something is going wrong, then take corrective measures, then restart the campaign again. Previously we spent money, it was gone for good. So this is one major change that has happened in marketing, which is huge digitization. And as a result of that, hyper personalization, which is a consumer, this is the experience that he or she expects today. It is normal. Previously, hyper personalization was the prerogative of some few big organizations, but today it is the customer's birthright. The customer thinks, I need special treatment, I need that special experience, so and also, on the other side of the coin, the other impact of digitization is that your marketing spends, and marketing has been democratized to a large extent, right? So whereas SME or a startup still can't compete with the deep pockets of a big organization, but he or she can sit in a tier 2 town of India and get customers globally, right? Previously, SME couldn't think of it without without spending huge amount of money. Now, thanks to digitization, to a large extent, there is a level playing field. And the third and final thing I'd like to highlight is that you have the privilege of knowing who's your target audience and then fine tuning everything, keeping the target audience at the center. Previously it was few things. Being in research, you would know SECA, SECB, SECC, male, female, age groups, and so there was a lot of wastage and duplication factor, which today is not there. So consumer, marketeers can actually do hyper targeting as well. And this is all thanks to AI and marketing automation that is coming into the field.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for saying all these. In fact, I resonate, with whatever you have said, because this is my 25th year as an independent consultant. Being a Bombay, I've worked in various areas, in Mumbai and then in Calcutta. But of course, no regrets, and I'm thoroughly enjoying, being on my own. And coming down to consumers, how tempting it is for me to talk about consumers and think about consumers, because it's like, I breathe with consumers most of the time, that we interact. Now, coming to our topic, work-life balance, I wanted you to specifically define what is work-life balance according to you, especially with reference to India.
Work-life balance, we are talking about three words: work, life, and balance. So there is work, there is life, but where is the balance? Especially because I've traveled globally, I've worked globally. So that's the reason this is very apt to the India perspective. Where is the balance, right? You're constantly balancing between your dreams and your duties, between your duties and your deadlines, between your ambition and exhaustion, right? So you're trying, but at the end of the day, our system today, especially in the corporate world, or the private sector, as we say, the system doesn't allow that to happen, despite individuals trying to balance that, right? So work-life balance to me is it's not about it's more about family life, it's more about a mental freedom, it's more about and I would stick my neck out and say work-life balance is more about higher productivity.
Why do you think it's so difficult, for people in India to achieve it?
I've seen it from one organization to another. In some way or the other, it's a disease that prevails in corporate India, if you ask me. And why? Because I have worked in California in the past, right? So what happens in California? What I have seen is by 5 o'clock, people are back home. Between 5 and 6, they would have their dinner. Then they would go for their evening shopping after dinner, right? So the evening shopping doesn't happen while returning from office. It happens after dinner. And that is given, like the amount of time off people are given from their workspace, right? So I'm just comparing, and that's why I said it's a major embedded problem in corporate India. And the reasons are two. One obviously is a structural reason, and the other is a cultural reason, right? So if you see the structural part, I was reading an ET report recently, and what they had calculated in a place like Bangalore, right? They said if you have to travel average 13 kilometers, right, you will take average 63 minutes in Bangalore to reach there. Means to and fro is average more than 2.1 or 2.2 hours, right? So that's what ET is writing. I spent more than a decade in Bangalore. I have seen people 4 hours on the road every day, right? So that's one is the endemic structural issues that you face. The other is, and so are your employers doing anything about it, right? It's very easy to say come next to an office or a commercial area where the rents are double or triple. Nobody can afford that, especially the middle management. The other is the cultural issues. You must have seen a CEO recently which made a statement that went viral, that 90 hours a week, which was actually shameful. If you even take 6 days a week, that means you are expecting people not to work like a horse but like a mule for 15 hours a day, right? So if you're spending 3 hours on the road, 15 hours in the office, where is the time that you need for your family? Where is the time you need for your health? Where is the time you need for your sleep, right? So, and then to my surprise, there were other corporate honchos that supported that. So, if you are in the twilight of your career and you can make such stupid statements and you are aligning a mammoth of a workforce, imagine what it does to their motivation levels, right? You may be managing your family at a CEO level, but can a manager or an assistant manager do that? So it's a huge mindset issue. Then there is the other part of culture, which is the startup culture, right? So I have been in Bangalore, like any second person in Bangalore, I used to ask what he's doing. I'm doing a startup. That would be the answer. Now,
Right.
startups have this wrong notion that you are a startup, so you're inherently a very hard worker and you're working day and night. It's not like that. It's a myth. If you are a startup, you are, very fast getting towards the investment or the investor kind of a, you can say, captivity mode. Investors are like vultures. For a startup, even 20, 30 lakhs is a big amount, right? And the investor will invest in your organization and then he will drive you nuts. He will drive the entire organization nuts, making them work day and night, right? So, because of this huge startup culture coming in and, people having to actually put up with the investors a lot, I think that also is spoiling the work life balance to a large extent. And the third is the digital culture. The digital culture, now I spoke about it from a marketing perspective, from a work life balance perspective. The digital culture ensures that you are taking work home, right? Um, can you please respond to this mail by 9 p.m.? It's important, please, right? And so, can we have a quick call? Can we have a quick Teams call or whatever? So you are never away from work. If you want to switch off, the digital culture is not allowing you to switch off. So, and then there is the comparison culture, which I have seen is very specific to India. I have never seen it outside anywhere where, a boss would play down between two people. He would say, listen, what's the problem you are having? The X is working so hard and see how well he's doing, and you are having problems in putting in extra hours, right? So that culture of comparison really kills you to a large extent. And so what is in essence in the last point I'm telling you is, are you working 10 hours a day? So, does that ensure that you are more productive than a person who's working 8 hours a day? Absolutely not. It is stupid. But, everybody's falling in line to the organization culture. Your boss is talking to you about such things. His boss is driving him nuts. His boss's boss is driving it nuts. So, I think this kind of a cultural alignment from the very top is bad. I gave you the example of those couple of CEOs. So because of this, I think, there is in India, the work life balance is becoming very hard to achieve.
Got it. Got it. In fact, this was very, very insightful and it really clarifies a lot of things for our audiences. Thank you so much for that. In fact, we are talking a lot about AI. We are talking about AI tools. We are talking about technology. And this is spoken even in the reference of consumer insights. Okay. Now, what is the role basically played by AI, technology, and all that as far as work-life balance is concerned, according to you, Atul?
Yeah. So, see, tech was always supposed to be a productivity enhancer. It was always supposed to be an enabler. And as long as tech was flexible, right? So, but having said that, technology is doing all these things. But what tech is also, from a work life balance, it is doing is it is erasing boundaries, right? As I said, thanks to tech, you're always taking work home, right?
Mm.
Today there is a Teams, then your boss is not satisfied. He's saying, okay, let's start working on Zoom as well, apart from Teams. Then somebody in the system would say, where is the Slack? And then another person would say the asana works better. So as a result of this tech thing coming in, you are juggling with multiple platforms and multiple issues, where if you are having 5 6 platforms to answer to 5 6 bosses on a daily basis,
Mm.
what is the time you get to work? What happens to your productivity? And then there is always a Microsoft projects, and there is always a WhatsApp. If you ask me, WhatsApp has become a menace now. Over the years, WhatsApp was always supposed to help out, to have quick responses, not just me with friends and family, but also for work. It was supposed to be like a quick reaction response. But today, the first thing that is set up in any office is a WhatsApp group, right? A project comes in, a WhatsApp group is done. At the end of the day, today my WhatsApp is in a mess. I must be having 10 to 15 groups. What is the result of that? I never go to any group. I never see anything, right? So, so this is, what tech is doing. So while tech is proving to be an enabler, it is doing the job that it is supposed to do. But from a work-life balance perspective, it has not mitigated any impact. That's what I'm trying to say.
I absolutely resonate with you. You know, there was a time when everything used to be on mails in India as well and abroad. But now
Mhm.
you have a WhatsApp group for every small little thing. I mean, it is absolutely true. Tell me something. What do you think, would be the consequences of this imbalance? I've heard about the consequences, but I wanted to hear from you and your experiences, maybe some live cases as well, Atul.
Yeah, so let me come to the live case later. And there are
Sure.
many live cases, including me as well. So we'll exceed the time actually, but quickly, what are the consequences? I think stress and burnout is the biggest consequence, right? And it has been globally acknowledged that an Indian workforce has the longest, work hours in, across the globe. So there was this study done by ILO that says that India is actually averaging 47 hours a week, right? And more than 50% of the respondents actually are clocking 49 hours a week on an average. Now, what is telling is that this is the second highest globally after Bhutan, right? So, this is what I think our corporate honchos need to see. If I was sitting tomorrow as a CEO, I would be seeing on like how to take care of the workforce so that they take care of the work, right? Today, people are thinking how to take care of the work, and workforce will take care of itself, which is a very wrong approach. So this is what burnout and stress are doing. um, it is affecting relationships. It is affecting your personal lives. So also this. So apart from burnout and stress, and you must be reading about it on social media a lot, mental health is the second consequence, I feel, right? And again, Ipsos, is globally a very reputed research organization. And Ipsos has also done a mental health study. And why I'm talking about these is so that it shouldn't seem like that we are talking in thin air, right? So Ipsos has actually done a global study, and I'm just emphasizing that this was for professionals under the age of 40 years. So they're not,
Mm.
they're young professionals. And 53% of the professionals actually said that they are facing mental health issues, and it is affecting their day to day life. And 25% in the same study actually said that at least 2 weeks in a year they were depressed or they felt hopeless about themselves, right? So this is what we are doing to a workforce which is under 40 years today, right? And similarly, you must have heard about this, a celebrity led foundation, the Live Love Laugh Foundation. It has also done a similar study, but then it has just increased 53% to 59%, right? So these are all pointing out towards a very deeply embedded malaise, which needs to be undertaken, because we are actually sitting on a time bomb. And you see, what does the stress and burnout do to you? It gets into lifestyle diseases. You know, I was reading in Times of India very recently, and this is no less than the Indian Heart Foundation that has said that more than 50% of the heart attacks in India are under 50 years of age. And out of that, 25% are under 40 years of age. So, what are we doing to ourselves? People are not even doing a normal walk, they are rushing to office, rushing back, driving back. They don't have time to have food. So, late night meetings हो रही हैं, ask for a pizza, then that becomes a habit. Not have proper food, ask for a burger and have some deep fried chips, or something from KFC or McDonald's. So, but what it is doing to your health, what it is doing is it is combining your sedentary lifestyle with very poor diets, and these are the results that are coming out. So the consequences, coming back to our point, are heavy. So my own example in one of my previous organizations was that I had not slept for 3 nights during a launch. And from Baroda I was in Baroda for a launch, and we had to come back to Ahmedabad in the night itself. And I was told to make a presentation the next day. I told my boss, I can't do it. I'm extremely tired. I'm underslept. He says, no, nothing doing. It has to be done. So fair enough. So I came back to Ahmedabad. I told at home that, I cannot sleep because, and then I rushed to office. I picked up some files, and, those were days without laptops. And I picked up some files and stuff, and so let me do some work at home. And I came back, and when I was driving out of office, the next thing I knew is I was on the roof of my car, and I didn't know what happened. Later on, I was told I had slept while driving. So I actually went into, so this is what stress does to you. So is corporate life more important, or is your health and your own your family more important, your life more important? So we have to answer that question today, right? Similarly, when I was at another organization posted in Mohali, I saw a mortality of a very senior person who was told to undertake a particular procedure, and he kept delaying it because कल एक आज meeting है, परसों वो meeting है, and review hai. So this is how corporate life is, Ajanta, right? So high paced corporate life. And one fine day, I don't want to get into the details, but he left all of us. So that's how important it is for managers to take care of the people.
I totally understand. Thank you so much for sharing that. Atul, I just wanted to ask you another thing very, very important with relevance to this. Do you recommend any changes or any differences, as far as the gender differences are concerned? Males and females, men and women, suffering from this.
Yeah. So, I think they are, gender diversity and gender imbalance and work-life imbalance are very two different topics. If you ask for my opinion, it would not be proper to mix those, because work-life imbalance is exclusive of the gender, I feel, right?
Okay.
And gender imbalance is a totally different topic, and there I feel corporate world is taking a lot of strides to address this issue better, the gender imbalance issue better, than the work life imbalance issue. I'm not one against the other, but I'm just saying at least some movement is happening to better that part. But I don't see any movement in addressing the work life imbalance issues.
Many women in the industry, in different industries, have been telling me that they suffer much more than men as far as work-life balance is concerned. Men are more professional, they have limited responsibilities at home, possibly, and that is the reason, this is what happens. So I just wanted you to throw some light from your personal experience, if you can, because this would really help all of us through this podcast. That was what I was hinting at, Atul.
All I would just say is that instead of organizational corrective measures here, we have to take more of societal corrective measures here. So, what you're saying about feedback from the fairer sex is actually absolutely correct feedback, but all I would just say is that it is also happening because of the way our society is wired today, right? Whereas we don't give that flexibility and that respect to our women colleagues, that they are equal, so why should they be more involved in household chores than men can? So I think that societal thing, which is adds to a lot of pressure on our women colleagues, which is not fair. I think their household members, their life partners have to take greater responsibility there, more than the organizations. That's what I have to say. And if they do that, I think a lot of these issues that are coming up, balancing actually time, they will go away, I feel.
Thank you so much. That was really insightful. Before we close, I wanted to thank you once again for coming in. And Atul, any one-liner, any tip of advice that you would like to give us?
So all I would say is two things. Number one, we should actually relook at work-life balance and redefine it as work-life integration, and then take steps from there. The second thing that I would like to say is that we have to have the courage to redefine success. And if we don't do that, then success will redefine our lives one of these days, right? So today is the EMI culture, today is the high aspiration culture. So, I mean, people, especially the younger lot, should have mature heads on their shoulders. And if they have the money to buy a hatchback, then why they should go for a sedan? If they have the money to buy a sedan, then why are they running after a SUV, right? So, if they tone down their aspirations and, and look at success in a modest way. Very recently, I was watching a Netflix documentary called Minimalism. I would, in this regard, I would exhort all the viewers to actually go and watch that documentary. It's all about people becoming so happy. They just focus on what minimum things they require in life, right? So and it's an eye opener actually, and it's a trend that is casting across the young generation in US. So this is my message.
Thank you so much. Yes, minimalism is already catching up with India as well, and we've worked on that as well. So it was interesting that you mentioned that, and I would definitely watch it. Thank you so much for coming over, Atul. Wishing you all the very best. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.